Yeah, let's talk about that grace. Let's always talk about that grace. What else is there to talk about? We're not talking about grace. What are we talking about? Well, okay, me. If I'm not talking about grace, what else am I talking about? What else is there? Nothing. Nothing. Not really. Grace is what it's all about. And the reason I say it's what it's all about is because I truly believe everything is God's grace. All manifestation of existence is by grace. So then you would say, well, what about the negative? What about Satan? What about bad? What about ugly? What about demons? What about demonic things? What about all the negativity, all the bad things? What about that? Is that by grace also? Absolutely. Absolutely. You see, there is nothing, no thing, Ami is not, I am is not. There's nothing, no thing. That which you call God by whatever name, source energy, prana, Alpha and Omega, Yeshua, Yahweh, Thought, Jesus, Jehovah, God. I am that name also. God. That God is being everything. God is everything. There's nothing God's not. So whatever it is, the isness of it is God manifested in form, in thought, in action, in word, or in deed. How about the process of creation, thought, word, and deed? All things, everything is who Ami is, who the I am is. The I am God that spoke and said, my name is I am, for a reason. In our English language, in human language, in all languages, it's interpreted the same way. The one, the oneness of that God that we call and describe and understand on many planes and on many levels and in many ways, that God. I choose to utilize that name. I just love it. So that name in the 66 copulation of the Judeo Hebrewic Bible, that book, the Bible, the Bible, the basic instructions before leaving earth, the Bible, that book of grace, Bible being 5 letters denoting God's grace. Yeah, that. There it says, my name is I am. In fact, I don't know too many other places in English where it's written and it says that other than in the Bible, where God spoke to Moses, grace, 5 letters, Moses, grace personified, and said, my name is I am, and shall be a testament and testimony unto my people for all eternity. That part, 15th verse, 3rd chapter, by the way, if you want to go look it up. Exodus. Because grace is God. God. Let's use the word God. Grace is God. God is grace. And we know all things are created by grace. Everything is by grace, by the hand of God. All things are created by God, grace. All things are created through God, grace. All things are created by God, grace. The human is being God, grace, manifested in grace. It is why the 5 is alive. Not only is the 5 a prime number in mathematics, but The 5 is a number that denotes or points to grace. 5 letters of grace, the 5 letters of alive. The 5 is grace, alive. More proof of the 5 in all things human is the fact that human is 5 letters. Being is 5 letters. Grace, 5 letters. On earth, 5 letters. In earth, 5 letters. As earth, 5 letters. Because remember, the human was formed from the dust of the earth. That's Genesis 2:7 over there. Formed from the dust of the earth. Mankind, who you were created in the image and likeness of that which we call God, the I am God. Who is, who we are, who they are. God in flesh. God in flesh as the human grace, being grace, on earth grace, God's grace made manifest. That's what we are as human beings. Who we are, mankind. We're the children of the Most High God. Mankind, created in our father, mother's image and likeness, male and female in form, and in every other way necessary to be human, to be grace made manifest. Yes, absolutely so. When I read the Bible and I got that, what I just told you, when it was revealed to me and shown to me right there in the Bible, that truth, the truth of why when we speak the words and we say the name of God and we speak it and we say, I am, why? That's an affirmation of yourself, your existence, your being, your human being. It's an affirmation of God's grace because it's affirming yourself as the being human. That's who you are. God, the image and likeness thereof, that image and likeness, that child of, that portion of, but some people can't get with the totality, that piece of, that part of. Yeah, that you, that's who you are. And what you're doing here in grace, in earth, on earth, in grace, what you're doing here is manifesting the God self as the one and only manifestation of all things, including grace and all that is human. By virtue of, in my understanding, what I got and what I was told about it, by virtue of the 5 that is alive. There's a reason why the 5 and 5 is that number for grace, and 5 being alive, 5 letters of the word alive. Check this out. Ever notice you have 5 senses: sight, taste, touch, hearing, and smell. You have 1 set of eyes, 1 nose, 1 mouth, and 2 ears. You have 5 brain waves. You have 5 fingers on each hand, 5 toes on each foot, 2 arms, 2 legs, and a torso. Have you ever noticed that the 5 elements of existence, the 5 elements that make up everything that we know, are the same 5 elements that make you as a human? It is also why the 5 of grace is why we receive birth, grace, 5 letters of grace, birth, we receive birth into grace. Human, grace, 5 letters. Or I can go on. That 5 is alive, truly is. Those are just a few things. Make you go like Arsenio has said way back when, make you go, just a little something to think about. The 5 truly is alive, and it's the number for grace. Some have called me the grace preacher. Some have called me heretic. Some have called me blasphemer. Some have called me all manner of things known to man. But I heard God call me son, my child, love of my life. When I heard that, I was done, y'all. Said, all right. You know what I mean? If God be for you, baby, who or what can be against you? And then it don't even matter because you start getting into the areas of consciousness where you understand it's not even about that. But here on this video, I want to take the time to tell you the grace of God is so wonderful. The half has never been told. My grandmother sang that song to me. She was 103. She made her transition at 104. At 103, my grandmother sang that song to me and told me the story behind that song. The grace of God is so wonderful, the half has truly never, ever been told. My. Oh, peace and blessings. Love you with the love of my God Almighty. And so it is, people. And so it is.